everyone. Welcome to the revision session for the autumn portion of PY111. What I'm going to do in this video lecture series is to basically, I'm just going to tell you what you need to do in order to prepare for my portion of the PY111 exam. So the autumn portion of the exam, I'm going to tell you how to prepare for it in this video lecture playlist. I am not going to cover all of the content, kind of give a lecture that contains all of the content that we covered in the autumn term. That would be basically impossible because we covered too much for me to condense into a reasonable length video lecture. And it would also undermine the whole point of studying for an entire term together if I just gave you in one final lecture everything that you needed to know to perform well on the exam. That would kind of render the whole autumn term a joke. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to tell you everything you need to know to be prepared for this exam. And I'm going to start by telling you what this exam is like. Okay, so what will the exam be like in terms of its actual format? It's a take-home exam, first of all, so you don't have to go anywhere to take it. You're going to take it from the comfort of your own home. And here are the instructions that you're going to encounter when you get the actual document. So the paper is going to consist of 8 questions. You don't have to answer all 8. You only have to answer 3 of them. You're going to choose one from section A, and those are the 4 questions that I have written about my portion of Introduction to Philosophy. And you have to answer one question from section B, which Jakob has written about his portion of PY111. And then you get to choose one. You can either answer an extra one from Jakob's section, from his 4 questions, or you can answer a second one from my 4 questions. So you have to answer one from my portion of the module, and you have to answer one from Jakob's, and then you get a free choice to answer an extra one of mine or another one of Jakob's. So 3 questions in total. All the questions carry equal weight. You may write up to 750 words per questions. Penalties will be applied if you exceed that word count. So the limit is up to 750 words. These questions have been composed so that you can answer them within a normal exam time frame. So normal exams in our department are 3 hours. You basically get an hour to answer each question. So this has been designed so you can do it in 3 hours. So the idea is not to spend all 24 hours that you have available working on this thing. The idea is that within that 24-hour period, you can sit down for 3 hours and take this exam. Now, if you want to use more time than that, that's up to you. Obviously, we can't police the amount of time that you're using on this, but it was designed with the intention that you would only spend 3 hours. So you would take it like it was an exam that you would take in real life, in person, so to speak. Okay? Now, this is an open book take-home exam, so you can use any of the resources that we've given you to take it. You can, so like I said, you can consult any resources for this take-home exam, the stuff that we've given you, and also additional resources too, things that you've found on your own. You're not expected to provide a bibliography. You don't have to reference your work in the same way that you reference your coursework. So if you were sitting in an exam, you were writing out an exam, no one would expect you to have a bibliography memorized that you could sort of write in a footnote on your exam. So the same principle applies here. However, if you're going to use something that someone else has written, you have to put it in quotes. So if it's something that I have said in a lecture, I'm going to take all the transcripts of my lectures and I'm going to upload them to listen again. So if you just copy word for word something from my lectures, it will show up as plagiarism. So don't do that. So if you're taking something from a lecture, if you're taking from any online source, any book, any source whatsoever, if you're using words that have been put together by another person and you don't put quotation marks around them, you will be charged with plagiarism, because that's what plagiarism is. It's claiming that you wrote something that you didn't write. Okay? And this is just a reminder. This is what plagiarism is. You copy things from books, articles, any online or offline sources, including things that I say in the lecture. If you copy those things word for word, that's an academic offense. Just put them in quotations. Okay? When you submit the document, you need to submit it as a doc file or as a PDF file. So they have a very strong position on this. You'll get a 0 if you submit any other format. So if you're one of these students who always turns in an RTF format or whatever, don't do that. Apparently they will give you a 0. There must be some reason for it. I don't know what it is, but it probably just makes someone's life really hard if you submit it in a different format. Okay. So you have to submit your answers to Phaser by the time and date stated on the first page of the document. So this is from the actual exam. So it'll tell you when to submit the document to Phaser. And yeah, they also say, please allow at least 45 minutes at the end of your exam to upload your work. And that's a good idea. Try to finish this thing well in advance of the actual due date. So there's no technological problem that, makes it impossible for you to submit your work on time. Okay, we don't want to run into that for no reason. Okay, so that's it. So that's what the exam is going to be like. You're going to answer 3 questions. You can choose from 8 questions. You have to do 1 question of the 4 that I write, and you have to do 1 question of the 4 that Jakob has written. And then you can have a kind of free choice, whatever you think you'll give the strongest answer to. You can answer a second one of mine or a second one of Jakob's.